Hi, today is Saturday, May 6th, 2017, and this is a Swede Speaks. And now I have to talk about this week in Sweden. So let's get started with the last Sunday, April 30th, 2017, which also happened to be Walpurgis night in Sweden. In Lund, in the south of Sweden, in Skåne, or Scania, there were celebrations in the city park, or Stadsparken. And there were information on the municipality's website in the following languages: Swedish, Arabic, Somali, Tigrinya, Turkish, Dari, and Pashto. And apart from Swedish and Tigrinya, all of the other languages are languages of which most speakers are Muslims. I'm not sure about Tigrinya. I think it's spoken in Ethiopia and Eritrea. But you could note that Lund, which is in Skåne, has been a Danish town for a longer time than it's been a Swedish town. It's been a Swedish town since 1658. But there were no information in Danish. And by the way, it's pretty close to Denmark. And there are a lot of Finns living in Sweden, including in Lund. No information in Finnish. And by the way, if we should think about visiting tourists, there were no information in English or in German either. But in all those languages of which most are dominated by Muslims. I wonder why. On Monday, May 1st, which was May Day, which is a big day in Sweden, at least in some circles. A mosque in Järfälla, north of Stockholm, the Imam Ali Mosque, started to burn. It's a Shia mosque. I think it's the biggest Shia mosque in Sweden. One person has been arrested for arson, but police gives no details about this person. More than that, it's a male. So, I wonder why. I mean, if it had been a Swede who was arrested, an ethnic Swede, wouldn't they have said so? Is this about Sunni-Shia infighting? Maybe. Maybe it was a Sunni who put this on fire and they don't want to say that it was put on fire by another Muslim. Or maybe it was a Swede, but why don't they tell us then that? Sweden's Prime Minister Stefan Löfven, he spoke on May Day in Landskrona, also in Skåne, and he said, among other things, I quote, "If you lift a stone against an ambulance, then there are no mitigations. Don't touch our heroes," end quote. He also said that, quote, "The Islamist soldiers want to divide. They are criminals who hate our way of life, and because of that, they will be hunted by the full force of the Swedish democracy," end quote. Well, Mr. Löfven, that actually sounds good. I hope you turn this into government policies. There was also reports about a shooting in Katrineholm, which is a pretty small town to the southwest of Stockholm, in the province of Södermanland. One man was wounded. In Falun, in the province of Dalarna, the Nordic Resistance Movement spoke and 500 Nazis marched. And yes, the Nordic Resistance Movement, they are Nazis. Nordiska motståndsrörelsen in Swedish. There were demonstrations against employers who refused to allow employees to wear a hijab at work. For instance, at SAS, the Scandinavian Airline Systems. So maybe I'll have to start actively traveling with them now. On the next day, Tuesday, May 2nd, the Swedish Ministry for Foreign Affairs declared that 7 countries had laid down their votes when Saudi Arabia was elected member of UN's Women's Council. They refused to tell us how Sweden voted, if Sweden voted for it or if Sweden laid down its vote. They said it's impossible to vote against, I don't know, but they still refused to tell what Sweden did. And the government declared that they would remove ID identity controls from buses, trains and ferries coming from Denmark to Sweden, and this would take effect on Thursday, May 4th, 2017. Sounds like a bad move to me, but hey, that's what they said. Also on Tuesday, May 2nd, Sweden was the only EU country to vote in favor of a UNESCO resolution. A resolution that, among other things, states that Israeli excavations in eastern Jerusalem is a crime against international law. And it describes Israel as an occupying force. On May 3rd, Sweden's ambassador to Israel, Carl Magnus Nesser, was called up to the Israeli Foreign Ministry to declare to explain the Swedish position. And on Wednesday, May 3rd, there were a news story breaking about a girl who has been harassed in a Malmö school for eating pork. I don't think I have to comment any more on that. Or I don't think I have to say any more about that. You get it by yourselves. And there was also a report about how Finland Swedes, or Swedish-speaking Finns, well, people who are descended from Finland and who speak Swedish as their mother tongue, just like my grandparents did when they came from Finland to Sweden. My grandmother was bilingual, by the way. She spoke Swedish with her father and Finnish with her mother. My grandfather, he was Swedish-speaking. He learned Finnish later in life, but his mother tongue was Swedish, and they both came from Finland. So it's this group. It was declared that they might become a national minority. So what have I to say about this? Being part Finland Swedish or part Swedish-speaking Finn? Spare me. Spare us. No more identity politics. This is stupid. That's what I have to say about that. On Thursday, May 4th, the news broke about the hijab ban at Scandinavian Airline Systems, that it was a planned coup from the hijab activist. Days before, the activist, Al-Hassani, visited the airline for a job interview. Well, days before she visited them for a job interview, a network called The Right to Our Bodies, or in Swedish, Rätten till våra kroppar, they announced a demonstration against this on Facebook. And 2 days after the media reported on the hijab ban, she wrote in this group, quote, "This was what we fought to achieve, that corporations should speak up against SAS policies." Did someone say hypocrisy? Anyway. And on Friday, yesterday, May 5th, several municipalities in Skåne, or Scania, it's a lot happening in Skåne. Have you noticed this? Well, anyway, they are in crisis because of the migrant flow that's been going on for a few years. There's crisis for welfare, there's crisis for elementary schools, for high schools, and for the housing market. They can't meet the demand anymore. And for Region Skåne, which I might think you could call it Skåne County perhaps, they have a crisis for children's and youth psychiatry and for dental care, things that they care about, or well, that they are responsible for. And also in Skåne, 2 cars started burning in Malmö within a few minutes on Friday evening. And, more Skåne, Ängelholm municipality campaigning to get its inhabitants to rent out rooms for migrants. We'll see how successful that is. I have my doubts. And it was also decided at a meeting in Turku, in Finland, that Nordic soldiers are going to get mutual uniforms, and that Norway gets to investigate the legal aspects of getting and using the same clothes. I think they are trying to create some idea of Nordic strength by having mutual uniforms, because combined the Nordic countries looks larger than divided. Sounds like a good idea, actually. We'll see what happens with that. And that's what happened in Sweden this week. And that's what I have to say about this. I would like to thank the people who are supporting this channel. As you might have noticed, I am collecting Nordic flags. I have the Swedish flag, the Norwegian flag, and the Finnish flag behind me. I still need a Danish flag and an Icelandic flag. I do this because Being Swedish used to mean being in favor of Nordic cooperation, or at least Nordic friendship. And that's how I want it to be. The Nordic countries share very much common culture and common values. And it's really a shame I don't have a Danish flag, because all the Nordic flags are sort of based upon the Danish flag, which was the first Nordic cross flag, and then the others followed suit. But anyway, I would like to thank the people who are supporting this channel. Through prayers, through Patreon, through PayPal. It's all greatly appreciated. And if you like this channel, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. If you got something to say, feel free to comment. If you like this video, please like it. And please share this video on Facebook and Twitter and other social media. And I would also like to encourage you to support this channel. And I will include all the necessary information in the box below. This is A Swede Speaks. Have a nice day.